Welcome to the MLS show. It is me, Baz. I am here again for the news roundup, week 9 of Major League Soccer. Starting with the biggest news story this week, Detroit may be getting an MLS expansion slot. Don Garber has visited this week. Detroit Pistons owner Tom Gores and Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert are joining forces to try and bring a Major League Soccer side to Detroit. Garber met up with the pair this week. They plan on heading up a consortium to make sure that they can deliver Major League Soccer to Detroit. MLS has already said they want to expand up to 28 teams, and it seems as though that the interest in Detroit is growing. Seeing over the past kind of 12 months that the junior soccer, they call it junior, it's probably been a bit disrespectful, but the lower league soccer, maybe minor league soccer, has certainly got a good core, a strong core base. So, it makes sense if you can get us into a city that has got that interest in soccer, is well supported anyway, then, there's nothing stopping an MLS side becoming a successful team there. Just some key components. They want to build a stadium in downtown Detroit. Gores and Gilbert believe that they can make Detroit a successful team. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan has said that he wanted to bring an MLS team to Detroit for some time. Some numbers as well. The elementary school soccer has gone from 600 to 900 players. Michigan has 92,000 registered soccer players. And it's allegedly, so they're saying at this point, an MLS side would complement to other teams in Detroit. You're just not sure with that kind of thing how that would work though. If there's two teams that are already set up there, albeit kind of minor teams, how does one team come in then? Does that team then come in and take their names? Do they become, so I suppose something like Detroit United would make sense, but then there's already Uniteds in it. And how do you go about fitting all of those people into that plan? It's quite a difficult one, I should imagine. And so just further to that, got some notes there. They're proposing a $1 billion build, which is an incredible amount of money, to build a 20 to 25,000 seater stadium at a location called Gratiot Jail Site, which is currently an unfinished construction site for a local county prison at the foot of downtown Detroit. This location is not yet confirmed, but it's one of them that has been mentioned. Don Garber gave a little bit of a statement. He said, "The city on the rise, we believe, is that we're in a league on the rise. We need great facilities. We need homes for our football clubs. American football aren't the answer, so we're very excited about this jail site. Yeah, very excited about a jail site. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly big news. It's interesting news to MLS, and I think it's a real strange one for us over here because we don't really, because of the way the structure is in the UK. It's we don't have these new teams popping up. I mean, we have a tiered system, obviously, that goes down and you can get promotion and teams work their way up and eventually you end up in the Premier League. That's the dream, isn't it? I suppose the only one we've kind of had over here was when Wimbledon kind of went bust and turned into Milton Keynes Dons, which was a bit of a mad one, and they moved the club, from Wimbledon into Milton Keynes. It was a bit of a mad one. That's kind of the only one I can think of over here that has been able to take over someone else's club and move it, which we know it happens quite a bit in MLS. But interesting one. We're going to be keeping an eye on that one anyway. It's, I suppose, as you move forward, they're trying to increase Major League Soccer. It's just going to there's going to be more and more of these things. I mean, they've said they want 28 teams, currently got 20. Atlanta United look on course to join next season, of course. And then, there's LAFC, Minnesota. They're going to be FC because they weren't happy with United. And Miami Beckham, whatever that's going to call it. They're all supposed to be in by 2018. More on Beckham stuff a little bit later in the video. After you've got those 24 teams, it looks like now there's going to be another 4 slots available. And according to whichever report you read, There's 4 teams currently leading over everybody else. There's Sacramento, Detroit, who've already mentioned, of course, San Antonio and St. Louis. They seem to be in the box seat for the next 4 slots, but there's other names have been brought into it as well. You've got New York Cosmos, of course. Whether they would make that step is a tough one. Tampa Bay Rowdies in the 11. There's Charlotte, Cincinnati, Oklahoma Energy, Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Any of them could make a run for it. So you just don't know how far this expansion will go. Will it go to, some people are saying it'll go to 32 teams. I've seen 40 mentioned. Depends how you could do the divide and have 20 in each, in each conference. Who knows? Or would you make 4 conferences of 10, which again would only probably complicate it. Who knows? Who knows what the long-term plans are? But like I say, the big news this week that Detroit has been listed as a city of interest for MLS expansion. So it's a case of watch this space. Okay, moving on, more stadium news. This week, DC United have begun to put a shovel in the ground at Buzzard Point. Buzzard Point is where the DC United new stadium is going to be. It's been a long time coming. It has been a long time coming. Been talks of a new stadium since the 90s for DC United. They're desperately in need of that new stadium. Some people still sceptical about this whole move, but there is shovels in the ground. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see whether that increases attendances for DC United. That the new stadium's more purpose built, modern. It's going to be very, very interesting. The new stadium is said to have better accessibility. Who knows? Some great renditions are being seen out there. We'll put a couple up obviously on the screen now, but it's good. You see a club that is, trying to move forward like that. New stadiums always give you a boost. Always gives the fans some belief as well that whoever is behind it is trying to ensure that they become a successful, modern, and fluid football club, that is trying to adapt and trying to build their brand and make themselves bigger and everything else. So that's good to see. It's good for the people of DC United who have probably sat around waiting for this new ground, these promises that have been around for 20 years now, to actually see some work getting done. I know I'm an Evertonian and we've been talking about a new stadium since the 90s as well, and yeah, guess what? We're still playing at Goodison. But yeah, I suppose it'll be an exciting day once they see the structure going up and everything else. It's really good. So DC United finally moving forward on their new stadium. Okay, just a very quick one. Orlando Pride, the women's side of Orlando City, set a new National Women's Soccer League attendance record this week. They got 23,403 people into the camping stadium. Sorry, I'm still going to call it the Florida Citrus Bowl or the Orlando Citrus Bowl. Sorry, that's what it will be to me. But apparently it's now being called the camping stadium. They got 23,403 people in to watch their game in the week, beating the Portland Thorns record, which was 21,450. So what a fantastic effort, from the supporters of Orlando. Great for the ladies' side. They're great, for women's football. Great to see that demand is there as well. Know that Phil Rawlins and everybody else at Orlando City is really big on this. They want the women's game to grow and grow, and that support is there. And it's fantastic to see. Fantastic to see that many people go into the camping stadium this week, and long may it continue. It's better for the whole game. It's better for the sport if both sexes are well supported. And 23,000 is certainly, it's bigger. Let's be honest, it's bigger than some Premier League games over in the UK. So that can't be bad at all. So well done everybody at Orlando Pride. Fantastic effort. Moving on, this is now becoming a little bit of a regular feature on this news roundup. It's that Christian Pulisic just continues to tear up the playbook. He scored again at the weekend, become the youngest ever player to score 2 goals in the Bundesliga. and he's got everybody talking about him. Heads are turning, people are sitting up and taking notice. There's a lot of clubs scouting him now. He looks a real prospect. Fantastically quick feet. And he's apparently now he's on the radar of Manchester City and Real Madrid. They're looking at him and seeing obviously a good young player, great feet. They also, it's been announced, or it's been reported that they like the opportunity of the marketing side of him as well, which I always find quite sad when you're talking about footballers, because it's essentially about the game. It's not about how many shirt sales they can bring in. Apparently it is, but for me, it's always should be about the game and not the shirt sales. But this kid looks a real prospect. I think he's going to be fantastic. He's already got a lot of people excited. He's only 17. Is he going to be, dare I say it, is he going to be like the American version of Messi? Not in that class, I'm going to put the weight of a nation on his shoulders, but is he going to be the young American superstar soccer player that we've all said is there somewhere? You just got to bring it out. This kid's doing it in the Bundesliga, which is a tough league. He's only 17. Looks a real player. He could be one of the best players ever to come out of the United States if his career continues on this path it's on. It's very early. Kids have burst onto the scene before in the past and have never really done it. But, he's made a very good start. And like I say, he's got a lot of scouts watching, a lot of people talking about him. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, interesting to see how he goes forward, and interesting to see whether this reported interest actually turns into anything. If I was him, I'd be looking to stay at Dortmund for a few years, just learn my trade. No point chasing big moves to your Real Madrid at this stage of your career. Get games under your belt, get the experience, learn how to handle the whole thing, and then, if you're a good enough player, those clubs are still going to be knocking on your door in 3-4 years' time. You'll still only be 20, 21, which I think is a great age, but very interesting to see that clubs are taking note of it, and they will do. You get a young player like that with quick feet who looks a real prospect, good ability, good pace, good energy around the midfield area, playing off the top as well. Going to have a lot of people interested in him, but well done, Christian. Keep it going. At this rate, I'll be mentioning him again next week, won't I? In other news this week, Dom Dwyer is thought to be considering the lights have gone out on me. Thought to be considering playing for the United States men's national team. Dwyer obviously eligible for England, given he's English. Jamaica as well, I believe. But he's been over in the States for a while now, and I think from next year he's eligible. So, by the time they go to Russia in 2018, he'll be 27, which is a great age. I think it's a good move for him. I'm not convinced he's going to get in he's not. I don't think he is going to get in the England side. So, we've got players like Harry Kane and those kind of players. Wayne Rooney still there. Daniel Sturridge, if he's ever fit. Cotton Mullegs. We've got all of those kind of players ahead of him. Jamie Vardy. So for Dwyer, I think he would offer. I look at the state, the United States side, and I don't see a real top centre forward at all. I think Dempsey is good, can do a job, but I think he drops too deep sometimes. Bobby Wood is flashes. I think he shows flashes that he's got something most definitely, but Josie Altidore, hit and miss, man. So I think Dwyer would be an absolutely brilliant fit. I think he's a great target man. Given the size of him, he's so strong, he's aggressive, works hard, and I think that it could be a really sensible choice by Dom Dwyer to play for the United States. I think he'd be really good, to be honest with you. Getting a nice little nucleus of players now there, and if Jurgen Klinsmann can ever figure out how to use them, how to play the proper players, yes, you know who you are, Lee Wynn, Ethan Finlay, Darlington, Nagby, those kind of players, get them in, mould the team, and then bring in your like Dwyer and Christian Pulisic and all of these, could have a really good, side within 2 years. So interesting, but for me, I would be welcoming Dom Dwyer with open arms if I was Jurgen Klinsmann, because at the moment, like I said, I just think they're a little bit short, and I think that he he can certainly tick a few boxes for the United States. So have to wait and see if that is the road he goes down. I would have thought he was, given he's married to Sydney LaRue and he's, the children are American anyway. Dom, do it. Think of yourself. Think of those World Cups. Do it. Before we move away from Dom Dwyer, got himself into a little bit of a... it was reported as a fight with a fan at the Sporting Kansas City Vancouver match the other night. Yeah, it wasn't really a fight, more of a little bit of a bit of banter, which ended up with the fan throwing either crisps or popcorn at him and was then forcibly removed by about 6 stewards. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what it was all about. Tell me below in the comments what it was all about. I've seen the video, couldn't really, didn't really understand what was going on. Why? He's a bit hard though, isn't he? Wasn't he a cage fighter or something, or an MMA fighter? Why would you pick a fight with him? Why? Why would you pick a fight with him? Leave him. Leave Dom alone. Just leave him. He's just warming up, just doing his stretches, trying to keep his muscles warm. Don't have a go with him. He's got to stretch, lad. You don't want him getting on and pulling anything, do we? Football, it's berserk. Okay, quite some, I was going to say sad news, but it's not sad, it's just, I suppose it's a sad state of where we are in the world today. MLS this week has announced some new security measures regarding people bringing stuff into the stadium. There's going to be new guest screening measures, bag checks, everything else, big security measures taking place. You're not allowed to bring certain things into the stadium now. Everyone's going to be checked. Well, I know a lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people are upset about it. It will add a lot of time onto actually getting into the stadiums now. But what can they do? If there's a threat there, they have to take it seriously, don't they? You can't bury your head, I suppose. But what a sad state of affairs we live in this world. When this is something you have to be concerned about. You have to be concerned about your safety just going to watch a game of soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't be too critical. We have patting down basically when you're going out. I was at Wembley last weekend for the FA Cup semi-final. Don't really want to speak too much about that. And it was very much, you go through, your ticket goes in, you walk through the turnstile and then you pat it down. It adds on. I think the measures that MLS are talking about are much longer, much more strict searching. But I mean, obviously I'm an Evertonian. When I go to Goodison, there is bag check, but it's a very quick. Look, I suppose they've got to try and put as many deterrents in as possible, but it does add time until you're getting in and out the stadium. Of course, it does. I go to Orlando nearly every year. Go to Disney and the parks and everything else, and there's bag checks are there. It does add time onto your journey, but I suppose that you've got to just look at it and say you'd rather everybody was safe going into a stadium and being in there, wouldn't you? Of course, the irony is anything could happen, even queuing up, and it would cause. I don't know how you thoroughly deal with that, but I suppose they've got to do something, haven't they? Those measures have got to be put into place, but you look at it and think, somewhere like the CenturyLink Stadium with like 40,000 odd trying to get in, it's going to take quite some time to get in. I guess the message is just get there earlier than what you normally would do if it's going to take you longer to get in, or try not to take anything in with you. I know that's not practical, of course, but try to take the least stuff with you as possible before you go in that stadium. But it's just a sad, rather than me totally and utterly have a go at the security measures, it's more a sad indication of what's going on in our world today, which is the real tragedy, that we can't just all live in peace and enjoy the football and everything else that we like to watch. We have to sometimes take a look at everything else that's going on around the world, and that's not a very nice place to be in when you think about it, is it? But let me know how it goes as you move forward. Let us know if it's causing mass problems or whether it's, just adds a little bit of time on getting in. But updated security measures for all 20 MLS stadiums. Another story that caught my attention this week was, I'm just going to have to read this because I've got notes written down for this one. Don't want to give this information out wrongly, but for the May the 21st New York derby, New York City have reduced the Red Bulls away allocation from 1,500 last season to only 600. And obviously this has upset Red Bulls fans. Of course it has. People saying that MLS is trying to promote rivalries. Yeah, it's cutting tickets for away fans and stuff. No genuine reasons being given for it. I just remember last year there was a bit of trouble at one of the games. I think not at the stadium, but in and around. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with it. Other people I noticed have said on comments that it's more to do with money and being able to sell, higher priced tickets for that game to other people because it's a derby. I'm not sure, but I did notice that Red Bulls reduced New York City's allocation at the Red Bull Arena, so it could potentially be a little bit of tit for tat. So who knows? But obviously you always want the biggest amount of fans you can have in from either side because that creates a great atmosphere. And it is always sad when it's a reduced allocation. But like I said, there might be a genuine reason behind it that, obviously I'm unaware of. But, I suppose it'll just fire up Red Bulls all the more to go there and get a result, albeit in front of less away fans. But if you know the real reason why that reduction, the 900 tickets have been removed from Red Bulls allocation, let me know in the comments section below. Okay, Real Salt Lake's Nick Raimondo joined the 400 club this week, making his 400th appearance. All 400, of course, judged in regular season, doesn't include playoffs. He started all 400 games. He's never came off the bench in any of them. So what a record that is. He's ahead of Kyle Beckham, who's played 385 times in MLS. Brad Davis, 375 times. And Philadelphia's Brian Carroll, 350 times. Again, none of them are included in playoff games. But, fantastic for Raimondo. The all-time leader in appearances is Kevin Hartman, who was, of course, the most decorated goalkeeper in MLS history. He made 416 appearances for LA Galaxy, Kansas City Wizards, and FC Dallas. So Nick Raimondo is closing in on that, only 16 games off it, but fantastic achievement. Well done, Nick. Right, I mentioned it before. David Beckham's Miami franchise seems to be going down a road with lots of bumps in it. He seems to get one thing sorted and the next thing there's a bump in the road. This time, the story's now broken that the Qatari family, who of course are involved in Paris Saint-Germain, who David Beckham had hoped would get involved in his Miami franchise, have decided to walk away from the franchise now. It says, there's a little bit of a statement here. It says, they're now out of the picture with David Beckham's Miami MLS team after talks broke down, which would have made the Qataris the major share owners. They made a detailed presentation to the Beckham people back in February, but Simon Fuller, who is David Beckham's manager, wanted big demands from the Qataris, and they've now walked away from the table. Beckham's saying that they're now going to move towards a Miami owner. They're looking for someone in the Miami area to become the main owner. And fans aren't too disappointed. According to reports, they weren't too happy about foreign ownership, really, for this Miami side. And they'd be much happier with a Miami-based businessman, albeit needs to be a very wealthy businessman with deep pockets, to head up their franchise. And be involved in it. I suppose you want someone local involved in your club to be in the fabric of your club. I mean, you'll know now that, I follow Orlando City, and I think that, having someone like, albeit he's not from Orlando, of course, he's English, which is Phil Rawlins, but someone in there who's got into the area and kind of knows the area, that kind of people who still got that, I suppose, got a connection with the fans. I think that's what Miami are looking for. They're looking for someone who can connect with the local people. But, suppose it's all about money, isn't it, at the end of the day? And if he can't find someone in Miami who's got deep enough pockets, I'm sure he'll go somewhere else and try and bring them in to ensure that his franchise does get up and running by 2018, which is when MLS have earmarked Miami to go into the league. Okay, some transfer speculation this week. The first one, I'm going to bat out the park. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to say it's not happening. And that, of course, is Lazio have been linked with Orlando City striker Kyle Larin. Mould from Norway linked with them as well. Do one. Lazio allegedly keeping tabs on Larin. Not for me. Go away, Lazio. Go and enjoy some other strikers. Leave Kyle where he is. I personally think Larin needs, I would say, another 2 seasons in MLS. I'd say this season and next season, before he's ready to come over to Europe. I think he just needs to, I think he's really good. His movement, he's big and strong. I just think he needs to fine tune aspects of his game. There's no point just chasing these moves immediately and, I'll develop over there. We've seen it with DeAndre Yedlin, with Sunderland. He moved too quickly for me. Went to Spurs, didn't get a sniff. He's gone on loan to Sunderland. He's been in and out of that side. When he'd have been better just staying in MLS, for me personally, and just developing until he was ready to go, and if you're going to go, you need to go where you're going to play. There's no point leaving MLS and going and sitting in someone's roster and not getting any game time, because that doesn't improve you. And games will improve you. So Kyle Larin, stay where you are, and then when you leave, come play for my club, Everton. Other news this week, there's a lot of rumours that Orlando City are going to trade Aurelian Colin to New York Red Bulls for a 4th round pick in the draft, or one of those mad crazy deals that they do. Don't really know much about it. Some people have said it's happening, others have totally battered it away and said no chance it's happening. So who knows? It's a watch this space. I think Colin has certainly got something to offer. I think at Orlando at the moment you've got Seb Hines, who has been playing okay, didn't have a particularly good game against Red Bulls, I have to say, the other night. Young Tommy Redding has come in and done excellently at centre-back as well for OC. But Colin, I certainly wouldn't be driving Colin up the door, although I suppose he's a good defender, but at times just leaves his position a little bit too much, and I think, maybe that's what is concerned agent Heath. But again, it's a watch this space, isn't it? And then finally, the other bit of transfer news, and people are kind of putting this one onto the back of the Colin story, and that is that it looks as though, and rumours and, are gathering with pace here now in the UK, that John Terry may be joining MLS this summer. Orlando City have been mentioned quite strongly with him, but I don't know how that would work in terms of wages and everything else. But Orlando City, New York City, and there was a third one. I can't remember the third team, sorry, who have been linked quite strongly with John Terry at the moment. I think, to be honest with you, I think I'm not a massive lover of him as a person. From what obviously I don't know him personally, but from his persona over here. But he's a very, very good defender. He's an excellent defender, to be honest with you. And I think he will sort out the likes of New York City's back 4, no problem. Back 3, back 4, whatever Patrick Vieira wants to play. John Terry would sort that out, no problems whatsoever. He's a leader. He's an organiser. Obviously, I think whoever, if he did come to MLS, he'd be an asset to every single team. Put it that way. That's the best thing I can say about him. He'd be a great defender for every single team. So it'll be interesting to see where John Terry ends up. But rumours are gathering quickly, and seems to have a little bit of meat on the bones as well now over here, that John Terry may move to Major League Soccer in the summer. Okay, finally, I'm just going to leave you with the standings in MLS this week. Coming on your screen right now. As you can see, Montreal head in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia second, Toronto, then Orlando City. Montreal, Doing well, doing well. Got a point at New York City the other night, a late Dominic Ajuro goal, levelling things up there, and then in a 1-1 draw there. Over in the Western Conference, FC Dallas top, of course, 17 points. Colorado, what a brilliant start Colorado have had to this season so far. Galaxy there as well, Real Salt Lake and San Jose. Been an excellent start to the new season. Lots of goals, lots of interesting games, teams beating each other, and normal up and downness of MLS. And long may it continue with the goals. But you know what? Less of the crazy refereeing decisions, please. That would be fantastic if those silly decisions can be done away with. I'm going to be back over the weekend. I'll be back with a reaction show Sunday or Monday, back in the studio with the lads for a couple of studio-based shows as well next week. Hopefully I will grab Ped and get him on if I can find him. I'm messing around with whatever he messes around with. Hopefully get him on. I'm going to go and have a haircut and a shave because I'm starting to look like Lexi Leilas without the gingerness. Give us a subscribe, give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at the MLS Show, spread the word, tell your mates to watch it, and let's hope this channel can grow and grow and grow with your help. It's your community and I want to be a part of it. Me and Ped hoping to drive the MLS banner over here in the UK. And I'll catch you next time on the MLS Show. And there's already Uniteds in it, and how do you go about fitting all of those people into that plan? It's quite a difficult one, I should imagine. And so just further to that, got some notes there. They're proposing a $1 billion build, which is an incredible amount of money, to build a 20 to 25,000 seater stadium at a location called Gratiot Jail Site. Gratiot Jail Site, which is currently an unfinished construction site for a local county prison at the foot of downtown Detroit. This location is not yet confirmed, but it's one of them that has been mentioned. Don Garber gave a little bit of a statement. He said, "The city on the rise, we believe, is that we're in a league on the rise. We need great facilities. We need homes for our football clubs. American football aren't the answer, so we're very excited about this jail site." Yeah, very excited about a jail site. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly big news. It's interesting news to MLS, and I think it's a real strange one for us over here because we don't really, because of the way the structure is in the UK. It's we don't have these new teams popping up. I mean, we have a tiered system, obviously, that goes down and you can get promotion and teams work their way up and eventually you end up in the Premier League. That's the dream, isn't it? I suppose the only one we've kind of had over here was when Wimbledon kind of went bust and turned into Milton Keynes Dons, which was a bit of a mad one, and they moved the club, from Wimbledon into Milton Keynes. It was a bit of a mad one. That's kind of the only one I can think of over here that has been able to take over someone else's club and move it, which we know it happens quite a bit in MLS. But interesting one. We're going to be keeping an eye on that one anyway. It's I suppose as you move forward, they're trying to increase Major League Soccer. It's just going to there's going to be more and more of these things. I mean, they've said they want 28 teams, currently got 20. Atlanta United look on course to join next season, of course. And then, there's LAFC, Minnesota. They're going to be FC because they weren't happy with United. And Miami Beckham, whatever that's going to call it. They're all supposed to be in by 2018. More on Beckham stuff a little bit later in the video. After you've got those 24 teams, it looks like now there's going to be another 4 slots available. And according to whichever report you read, there's 4 teams currently leading over everybody else. There's Sacramento, Detroit, who I've already mentioned, of course, San Antonio and St. Louis. They seem to be in the boxy for the next 4 slots, but there's other names have been brought into it as well. You've got New York Cosmos, of course, whether they will make that step is a tough one. Tampa Bay Rowdy, a city that has got that interest in soccer, is well supported anyway. Then, there's nothing stopping an MLS side becoming a successful team there. Just some key components. They want to build a stadium in downtown Detroit. Gores and Gilbert believe that they can make Detroit a successful team. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan has said that he wanted to bring an MLS team to Detroit for some time. Some numbers as well. The elementary school soccer has gone from 600 to 900 players. Michigan has 92,000 registered soccer players. And it's allegedly, so they're saying at this point, an MLS side would complement to other teams in Detroit. You're just not sure with that kind of thing how that would work, though. If there's two teams that are already set up there, albeit kind of minor teams, how does one team come in then? Does that team then come in and take their names? Do they become, so I suppose something like Detroit United would make sense, but welcome to the MLS show. It is me, Baz. I am here again for the news roundup, week 9 of Major League Soccer. Starting with the biggest news story this week, Detroit may be getting an MLS expansion slot. Don Garber has visited this week. Detroit Pistons owner Tom Gores and Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert are joining forces to try and bring a Major League Soccer side to Detroit. Garber met up with the pair this week. They plan on heading up a consortium to make sure that they can deliver Major League Soccer to Detroit. MLS has already said they want to expand up to 28 teams. And it seems as though that, the interest in Detroit is growing. Seeing over the past kind of 12 months that the junior soccer, they call it junior, it's probably been a bit disrespectful, but the lower league soccer, maybe minor league soccer, has certainly got a good core, a strong core base. So, it makes sense if you can get us into